Harley Quinn is a character whose pop culture popularity has always kind of made me raise an eyebrow, because here's someone whose story is all about being abused and exploited, so glamorizing and heavily merchandising her always felt kind of weird and cynical. And then there's the Harley Quinn TV show, a show that is annoyingly perfect. It's a self-referencing adult comedy with excessive violence and swearing, ingredients which can seem like a try-hard attempt at being cool with the kids, but it's actually kind of beautiful. Jokes are actually clever as opposed to rely on shock or offense. The integrity of the characters are not only preserved, but are leveraged for deep and charming arcs.
Sweet Jesus, the park's filled with murderous plants.
It has the balls to have real societal opinions, the celebrity stunt casting doesn't sound awful, it's not afraid to be sad, and more importantly, it's about and does something. It artfully restructures Harley so she has the right foundations to work on her own. The story opens with her being left behind by the Joker, and over a year in Arkham, she slowly becomes unconvinced by his love, culminating in Ivy's plan to put on display how much Joker prefers Batman over her.
Free the bats! Drop the broad!
So she finally chooses to change.
You? Replace me? I created you!
Harley's story is a journey of the self, how an individual's essential being is distinguished and defined. She creates her own gang and ambition to be more respected than her ex, but there's also a paradox. If you've defined yourself as a response to someone else, that means your story requires theirs to be comprehensible.
Origin story's how you become who you are. If it's screwed up, no surprise I am.
As a result, as a double entendre, the show redevelops our understanding of Harley's character by forcing her to redevelop her own, where her brand is meaningfully separate from him. Who is Harley Quinn really?
Who you are?
I don't know, I don't know, I don't know!
That's a question that actually causes her to freeze up, because a part of her mind is still incapable of processing an answer. Her repressed memories inhibits her mnemonic creative abilities, which means, you know what this essay is going to be about.
God damn it!
Trauma. Yay. Honestly, this wasn't intentional, guys. Season 1 of Harley Quinn is literally about a crisis of memory, so there's no real direction but in. It's important to state that our minds are pattern-making machines that are constantly absorbing experiences and converting them into memories, which can fit into confident patterns, which allows us to predict the future in a comfortable way.
You have to leave him. And don't say you don't know him like I do.
Oh, screw it! I'll die for you any day. I'm in!
Really?
That comfort and security that comes from reliable sense-making patterns, like I'm always going to look after my boyfriend and he's going to make all the choices, or my life was garbage because of him so I'm going to show him up, is what allows us to feel safe, to live with consistency.
I don't know why you bother coming here. He's never showing up.
In Harley's mind, it's mostly occupied by Joker's inner fear, because winning his affection is a gamble for a prize.
Till death do us part.
Therefore, the discovery and acceptance of Joker's love of Batman over her is, at its core, a traumatic rupture which breaks this pattern.
If all that's true, then why'd he say
Till death do us part.
Because he didn't say it to you.
The game was ultimately a scam. Harley realizes there's no future with him, but also now there's no future without him, because she can't answer "Who am I?" without him. Her imagination is limited by the pattern of Joker's control.
Why did you first become a villain?
Well, you know, it's because...
There you go. You know this answer.
Well,
You know this.
As a result, the first true act of freedom is finding agency, but not in making a show of it, but by discovering a new set of patterns outside of the Joker, within Harley, and that comes from entering her repressed memories and accepting that Harley can't credit him with ruining her life because there are always problems. As a child, she got a restraining order from Agent Cody Banks.
If you violate the restraining order again, Mr. Muniz will take legal action.
She grew up watching her father getting beaten up by gangsters, and more importantly, Joker didn't push her into the chemicals. Instead, she jumped in. It wasn't his fault, it was hers. Thus, by recognizing her part in her own suffering comes a new sense of empowerment, a new pattern where she chose to be who she is. She chose to jump, and she chose to break up, and she chooses who she is now, and where she lives.
Time I thought he pushed me, that it wasn't my choice. But it was.
Whoa. So you told yourself it was out of your control?
Yeah, because it was easier to blame him than accept the truth.
And the truth being what exactly?
That it was always my choice, that I was in control all along. And I still am.
However, this doesn't mean there aren't still many sides to this new successive Harley, because who we are and what gives us the will to live changes all the time. There's a quote from you-know-who: "The story must suit the hour, but the hours perish and are laid to account." It means coming to terms with the unsettled nature of this self-produced account on the part of the remembering subject.
I don't know, it felt like you were so ready to abandon me.
I would never do that.
This pluralism of identity that exists within us is the next obstacle Harley has to face. There are different needs from different identities that are being answered within Harley. Harley, as a career criminal, gets what she wants as a member of the Legion of Doom.
Welcome home.
She gets Joker's support and respect too. There's a part of him that does in fact love her because she makes things way more interesting. In fact, at the end of the season, when he has everything, he realizes he does need her because he's f***ing bored. However, by attending to her ex and folding her crew into the Legion, that's made her neglect them. And they leave. Harley's gang is evidence of Harley's other patterns. They are the byproduct of her independence and freedom, and they fulfill a need that extends far beyond this singular moment of career dreams and impressing an ex. A need which spans her entire biography, and appreciating this need means holding the ugliest mirror to her.
Hi, Mom!
A need for people to just love her, because Harley's own parents never did. The Quinzells represents the two worst parts of Harley. An easily exploitable woman who gets lured in by false promises.
We kinda got back together. Why? He broke every promise he ever made!
And a selfish scumbag father who would leave their friends for their own benefit.
You turned on your crew just like I turned on you. Classic case of samesies.
In an important crossroad in Harley's earlier life, she could have entered the Olympics with her gymnastics skills, but her father actually betted against her due to her popularity, so he can use the money to pay back his loans. Their influence are the source of her self-understanding, an understanding which fosters both neglect of others and reliance of others. As a result, at the end of the show, when all is lost, her change truly comes when she chooses to surrender herself for her friends.
She gave her life so that we may live.
And instead of being happy over Joker's newfound genuine love for her, she's angry. Joker would rather erase Harley than let his love influence him. And Harley would rather die than go back and declares,
You're nothing without me!
You always tried to make me think that, but it's not true. I have friends that love and care about me. I'm moving on with my life with the people that matter, and that ain't you, Puddin'.
So that was the Harley Quinn Season 1 video. I totally didn't plan to make it about trauma, instead I was going to talk about Carl Rogers' self-concept theory, but nope. As I was writing, the flashback episode was way too important to ignore, and the only analytical means of making sense of it would be, of course, through trauma. So here it is anyways. I'm aiming to get this season 2 analysis hopefully out next month. Special thanks to everyone on Patreon. I kind of got burned out earlier this month, so having you guys still supporting me really means a lot. So Alex, what do you think?
What do you think of what?